What's up guys, welcome back to the BroCast. And I know what you've been thinking, where the hell have you been, you big? Well guys, I've been incredibly busy and I am sorry, but now we're back on track and the BroCast will be released every week from now on. On this week's episode, Guild Wars 2 is getting raid content, Divinity Original Sin 2 is in the making, and Star Wars Battlefront now have a scheduled upcoming beta. So, as some of you guys already know, Guild Wars 2's expansion Heart of Thorns is in the making and is scheduled for release on October 26th. And one of the major components of this newest expansion is raid content. And the way raids are set up in Guild Wars 2 is that they consist of 10-player instanced content. And through this you will of course be met with epic encounters, boss fights and so on, just like any other raid content basically, but yeah. However, with the Guild Wars combat system, you can, unlike many other MMOs, expect an action-oriented raid experience where you are expected to constantly manage your position by dodging, switching weapons, and coordinating objectives, etc, etc. And this is of course where the many different class builds get put to the test. The build customization and weapon swapping system in Guild Wars 2 allows players to experiment and figure out the best build for each specific encounter. And while a warrior might support a group differently than, let's say, an elementalist would, the customization system allows you to adjust your team's composition and strategy to overcome any challenge. So basically this means, at least if I understand it correctly, that as long as you have 10 players and you make sure to use the customization system to make a powerful group, then you will be able to complete most of the content as long as you are 10 men. So even if a class is missing, you can throughout the customization system make up for that. So gone are the days where you have to sit and wait for a specific class to show up so you can get into the raid. Pretty cool. Anyway, as I said, the expansion releases on October 26th and I personally am very excited about this. I'm definitely checking it out. Alright, next up, good news for me. And I guess for you guys as well, but Divinity Original Sin is getting a sequel, and it is called Divinity Original Sin 2. And just like its predecessor, this game features turn-based combat together with a strong focus on systematic gameplay and well-grounded narrative. So Divinity Original Sin 2 basically builds on top of their previous success, and this means that there will be new and better dialogue, crafting and combat systems. There will also be tons of more skill schools, talents, abilities and spells. There will even be implemented a push-pull system which allows you to move targets into favorable or disadvantageous situations in relation to the environment. And in regards to the story, the developers this time aim to have a bit more grounded and serious narrative in this game compared to its predecessor. And I must say I kinda like that. I mean, the humor was fun in the first game, but sometimes it was a little immersive breaking for me. But still pretty good. Anyway, the story goes that generations after the events of Divinity Original Sin, the upstart Bishop Alexander the Innocent has declared Source the sole preserve of the Divine Order. Sorcerers are now criminals, and those suspected of having source powers are hunted, apprehended and forcibly purged of their powers, leaving only empty bodies devoid of emotion or free will behind. This kind of reminds me a bit of Dragon Age. I can't remember, you would do something to those mages who couldn't control it or something like that. Anyway, 4 burgeoning sorcerers from around the realm are each a victim of Alexander's pogrom. There's a bounty on your head, Divine Order Magisters are hunting you, you don't know who to trust, and the world is anything but your friend. And unfortunately guys, we will have to wait a bit because Divinity Original Sin 2 is scheduled to release sometime late 2016. So next up, if you have plans in October and you like shooters, I would suggest cancelling or rescheduling all of these things because Star Wars Battlefront goes into beta in October. The Star Wars Battlefront beta is basically a technical test that will feature Walker Assault on Hoth. This is a 40-player multiplayer battle featuring Rebels and the Empire. And yes, you'll be able to play both as Luke Skywalker and Daddy Cool Darth Vader. Besides that, the beta will also feature a survival mission on Tatooine where you and a rebel friend must fight back waves of Imperial forces. Oh, you rebel, you. Now, I'm not much for shooters, guys, but I must admit that I was so impressed by the presentation at E3 that I've probably watched that video I don't know, 10 times, and I'm constantly showing it to my friends every time I get the chance. I will definitely be playing Battlefront. It looks amazing, the graphics are insane, and yeah, it looks good. I'm gonna try it out, even though I don't like shooters too much. And as I said, the beta starts here in October, so make sure you sign up if you haven't done it already. And that's it for today's show, guys, but as always, I have a few questions before we end. Do you guys think that because of the new raiding content in Guild Wars 2 that it is going to attract a new type of audience to the game? Is this going to be the new WoW killer? No, just kidding. We've heard that sentence a few too many times, right? But in all seriousness, do you think it's going to attract a new type of audience to the game? And secondly, if I say smelly underpants in relation to Divinity Original Sin, do you guys know what I mean? I kinda hope so, because seriously, it has nothing to do with me. Seriously. And lastly, guys, I do of course have to ask how many of you guys are going to play Star Wars Battlefront, at least for a short while, or maybe some of you will even go fucking crazy and try to compete and all that stuff. Let me know down in the comments, guys. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe for more gaming news, and bros, do you even nerd?